Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay, guys, I am going, preemptive like, archive of recorded church music. I'm going to watch Coronation of not Charles, that is in a week, and not Queen Elizabeth, but Queen Elizabeth II's father, I believe. Has to be. Let's go. Or could it be the other, who's the one who married the American? Edward. Anyways, let's do it. So I'm not gonna watch the entire thing. I'm just gonna do some editing for once and hop around them, or I'm gonna skip through the you know just like walking through the streets parts, and so that's what I'm gonna do here. Let's get started. Let's start. And Queen Elizabeth.
All the world looks towards London, and half the world seems to be here, on this day of days. The day that will write a new page in history. The day that will be remembered by the children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren of all the waiting millions on this dull spring morning. To the crowds that have been here in front of Buckingham Palace all night, the day's first excitement is the motorcar procession of the foreign representatives, which leaves for the Abbey before 9 o'clock.
Is this Trafalgar?
Every moment the thrill of excitement increases. Innumerable field glasses, cameras and periscopes are focused on the gently swaying mass. At 9:15 comes the carriage procession of prime ministers, representatives of India, Burma and the colonies. In the first is Mr. Stanley Baldwin, and in turn behind him come Mr. Mackenzie King of Canada, Mr. Lyons of Australia, Mr. Savage of New Zealand, General Herzog of South Africa, Sir Mohammed Khan of India, Dr. Moore of Burma, and Mr. Huggins of Southern Rhodesia. Then, with the clash of the salute and the...
Rhodesia. Shoot, where is that again? Oh, it's modern Zimbabwe.
mounted escort of the Royal Horse Guards, the procession of members of the royal family. In the first carriage, you can just see their Royal Highnesses Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret Rose with the Princess Royal. In the second, their Royal Highnesses the Duchess of Gloucester and the Duchess of Kent. The excitement of 2 millions is rising to fever heat. Their Majesty's procession to the Abbey is on its way. The excitement of 2 millions is rising to fever heat. Their Majesty's procession to the Abbey is on its way.
I thought he said Her Majesty.
And with a flashing of breastplates and the clatter of hooves, the moment has come. The moment that the whole world is waiting and watching for. With a dignified slowness that makes it all seem as if it were some gigantic dream, the great gilded state coach moves forward in the palace forecourt. And here it comes, bringing with it, symbolized in our royal family, all the history and tradition of Britain and the Empire. It's almost unbelievably grand, the sort of superb show that takes your breath away.
I love how they don't even care about the horse poop. They just like step in it. Guys, I just watched a useful charts video on what to expect in the coronation of Charles III, and I think this is the exact same like 6-ton carriage that they're going to use, and I guess it's very uncomfortable to ride.
Outside the Abbey, the crowds are dazzled by the glitter of gold and jewels as first the little princesses and the Princess Royal arrive. Meanwhile, inside, 8,000 guests have already been assembled for over 2 hours. And at the door, the Earl Marshal of England, the Duke of Norfolk, is waiting to receive their majesties. Every peer wears his ermine and sable.
Oh, yeah, the Duke of Norfolk has a really big... He's like the wedding planner, but equivalent, right?
His coronet, which he won't place on his head until the exact moment that King George VI is crowned. The peeresses also carry their coronets, which they'll put on when the platinum and diamond crown touches the head of Her Majesty the Queen. Other members of the royal family arrive, and then just before the royal procession itself, Queen Mary and Queen Maud of Norway.
That looks like a cozy carriage. Hey guys, just a question. What was the cause of all of the like striations in the cameras back then? Like, what caused us to be able to improve that and have a more smooth video? There he is.
Thus, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth enter Westminster Abbey for their coronation, taking with them the loyalty and prayers of every one of us.
Guys, so when they say King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, they say that Queen Elizabeth is his wife, right? Because I learned that there's a regent, a regnant, Queen Mother. So Queen Mother is the mother of the king or queen who is to be crowned, whose spouse is deceased, right? And if there is a queen, like Queen Elizabeth II, rest in peace, when it is a queen being crowned as the head of the top monarch in England, her husband is not called the king, but is called the Prince of Wales as a prince, right? Prince Regent, Prince Regent. But if a male, like King Edward III, is getting crowned, his wife is called the queen because overall king is seen as higher than queen. And so if a queen monarch came to reign, and then it wouldn't make sense to call her husband, who is not the head monarch, the king. So that's why it's called the prince, right? And I really hope they do all the pageantry. I mean, it's been like 70 years. I get it. You want to look more humble and everything, and make it less, still a ceremony, but not as big. But hey, I'm American. I don't like all the royal stuff. I would hate it if it were here, obviously. But even I'm like, oh my God, I want to see this so bad. And so I hope they would just, this doesn't happen a lot. Just go all out. Have everyone do your thing, man.
Crown is safe. Long may it rest there.
Why am I getting so freaking excited right now? The crowning ceremony within the Abbey.
We are inside the Abbey for the most solemn and dramatic pictures that have ever appeared on the screen. The ceremony that has remained unchanged for 1,000 years. Inside the west door, the members of the royal family take their places. The Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret Rose with the Princess Royal.
Is that Queen Elizabeth right there? Is that Queen Elizabeth? Our future Queen Elizabeth? There's the chair. Does it have the stone underneath it?
The procession of Her Majesty the Queen moves up the nave, to be greeted after the anthem by the scholars of Westminster School with the Vivat Regina.
Regina? There she is. That's definitely Queen Elizabeth right there. Oh, question.
The procession of His Majesty.
Guys, what happens? So she's the Queen Mother. What happens if what would have happened if prior to, let's say that Queen Elizabeth II passed away, died before Prince Philip, her husband? What would would he be called the Prince Father or the King Father or something?
Majesty the King.
I'm just giddy right now. I love old footage. I want to say a million things. There he is. Oh, that's definitely Queen Elizabeth's dad. I think that's not the other brother. Or is it? I don't even know. I could be wrong. Guys, where's the stone? I thought there's supposed to be a stone right there. Oh, it is there.
His Majesty is greeted by the Westminster scholars with the Vivat Rex.
Is that the Archbishop of Canterbury right there?
The Archbishop of Canterbury asks all those present whether they recognize their king. They cry out, God save King George.
No.
Here present unto you King George, your undoubted king. Wherefore all you who have come this day to do your homage.
I'll do this
service,
once.
are you willing to do the same?
All hail King Charles. Or no, sorry, George.
3 times more, the Archbishop repeats the question until he has faced in turn the 4 points of the compass.
I'll do it.
Thus, the 8,000 people inside the Abbey first acclaim their sovereign. Then His Majesty will go to the chair of estate to take the coronation oath. Meanwhile, the regalia, which have been carried by the lords in the procession, are placed by the Dean of Westminster upon the altar.
Guys, can someone explain to me the difference between regent and regnant again?
The king prepares to take the oath. The Archbishop asks him if he will solemnly promise to govern
The peoples of Great Britain, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand,
Oh my God, Canada.
and the Union of South Africa, of your possessions and the other territories to any of them belonging or pertaining, and of your Empire of India, according to their respective laws and
And you
customs.
still had India.
I solemnly promise so to do.
Will you, to your power, cause law and justice in mercy to be executed in all your judgments?
Execute.
I will.
Still sitting in the chair of estate, the king signs the oath. Twice he dips his pen in the ink.
So is this the Suffolk guy, or Norfolk? And then the Archbishop. Or is that the Archbishop?
Now he will disrobe for the most sacred part of the service, the anointing
Hey,
with
yo.
holy oil. The Knights of the Garter
Ooh, the
will bring
anointing.
the canopy of
And then after this is the, it goes at that, and then the anointing, and then the
cloth of gold.
coolest part.
The Knights of the Garter will bring the canopy of cloth of gold.
Even with the really bad audio, it still sounds beautiful. Now the tent. He looks sort of ill. Maybe that's just... I'll shut up. Shutting up.
The anointing.
Be thy breast anointed with holy oil. Be thy head anointed with holy oil.
After the anointing, the secular and sacred characters of the coronation merge. The supertunica, or overdress of cloth of gold, is put upon the king. A girdle of the same material is caught around his waist.
Looks more like a South Asian.
The Lord Chamberlain touches his heels with the golden spurs of knighthood. From the altar, the Archbishop brings the jeweled sword of state. Thus is symbolized in the king the merging of the temporal and divine power.
So is this the same sword that Charles III is going to be presented?
Receive this kingly sword brought now from the altar of God and delivered to you by the hands of us, the bishops and servants of God, though unworthy.
The sword is girt about the king by the Lord Great Chamberlain.
This sword do justice, stop the growth of iniquity, protect the holy church of God, help and defend widows and orphans, and so faithfully
He's struggling.
serve our Lord Jesus Christ in this life, that you may reign forever with him in the life which is to come.
The king ungirds the sword, and going towards the altar, offers it in the scabbard to the Archbishop. The peer who first received the sword redeems it for the price of 100 shillings, and during the remainder of the service, he carries it naked before the king. The armil or collar is placed on the king by the Dean of Westminster.
I hope the static isn't bothering you guys too much. It's not bothering me.
The Dean invests him with a mantle of cloth of gold, shaped square like the cope of a bishop, and richly adorned with the eagle of empire.
I would have thought this would have been a pretty nerve-wracking thing, like nervous, but he doesn't really even have to do anything or say much.
His Majesty takes the orb with the cross.
Receive this imperial robe and orb, and the Lord your God endue you with knowledge and wisdom, with majesty and with power from on high.
The sovereign receives the ring, a great sapphire slashed with a cross of rubies. The Lord of the Manor of Worksop presents the glove.
Why is the Lord of the Manor in a military uniform?
His Majesty takes the scepter with the cross, the symbol of his earthly power, and the scepter with the dove, the symbol of divine guidance.
I want the diamond in that one. Give me that diamond.
Now every eye is riveted on the St. Edward's crown as the Archbishop of Canterbury lifts it from the altar and the Dean of Westminster bears it to where the King sits in the coronation chair. The Archbishop of Canterbury takes it, raises it with solemnity, lowers it on the royal brow. The King is crowned. The peers acclaim their sovereign.
I'm doing this once. God save the king. I didn't do that. I'm ashamed of myself.
king leaves the austere coronation chair to take his golden throne for the homage. All the great officers of state group in dazzling array around the sovereign. In their majestic sweeping robes, peers of the realm will pay homage one by one at the feet of King George VI, then rise one by one to touch His Majesty's crown and kiss his left cheek. First the Archbishop, then the Duke of Gloucester, the Duke of Kent, and the Earl Marshal, the Duke of Norfolk.
Can I say something, guys? I've said in other videos, you know, look, I'm an American, okay? And I often say, you know, look, if this were in my country, I'd hate it. But that was kind of the big foundation of my country. But I respect other countries' traditions and how they wish to run it, just like I would hate how other countries would tell us how to run our country. So I can't relate to the tradition, long tradition, four America's worth of tradition. And is it even 4 Americas? Oh my God, it's more. 1, 2. And a half. Oh my God, it's more than 4 Americas. And so although I'm going to be like, I love it. I appreciate it. And I'll never understand the amount of tradition you hold dear to your heart and is very important to you. So as many jokes as I might say, you know, you damn British, I'm fascinated and I love you guys. I love your culture and your traditions, your country. That's the last I'm sucking up. Even with the static, it's beautiful. If you had to put a dollar amount on everything the king is wearing, including the scepter, I wonder how much money all of that would be worth.
Since the beginning of the service, Her Majesty the Queen has been sitting in the chair of estate.
Now it's her turn.
Now she moves forward for her anointing. 4 peeresses bring the golden canopy. The Queen kneels at the altar.
Question. So would this not, so this won't happen with Camilla, right? Because wait, will it?
The Archbishop will pour the holy oil upon the crown of her head. He will put the Queen's ring
Wait,
upon the 4th finger of her right hand.
The pinky? Or the...
The Archbishop brings the crown from the altar, sets it upon the Queen's head.
Is this the one with the Indian jewel on it?
Receive the crown of glory, honor, and joy.
Pakistani, Afghani,
The Archbishop puts the scepter into her right hand, the ivory rod with the dove into her left. The Queen moves across to pay homage to the King. Her train is borne by the Mistress of the Robes and the ladies in waiting.
I want to see the Queen's
After the
crown
Queen
again.
and her ladies have bowed in homage, Her Majesty will take her place on the throne. Then the King and Queen will move forward towards the altar and enter St. Edward's Chapel, where the King will exchange the St. Edward's crown for the imperial state crown, which he will wear on the state drive back to Buckingham Palace.
Right, guys. So isn't the big ass huge rock diamond on the queen the crown they use for the queen for the queen mother, you know, the queen wife of the king, the queen, right? Isn't that really controversial because it was stolen from or retrieved from you know, either Bangladeshi, Indian, Afghani, and Pakistani rulers, and they like want it back, and so Camilla is wearing a different crown to like avoid that. Elizabeth. Is that her? No, wait, her.
This morning there were 7 processions making their separate ways to the Abbey. Now,
You know what's crazy, guys? I think about this all the time. Like sometimes I don't know why, if I'm weird or whatnot, but I do. Sometimes even if I'm like on the highway or just like passing people through traffic or even walking down the sidewalk, and knowing that like I'll never see that person again, likely, and they had a whole life, and just to see in the past, like every single one of these people and everyone, they all, it's crazy to think to me that every one of them has a whole life story, and they're just a pixel on an old video, and it amazes me. It's like if I see someone I'll never see, I'm just like, that person had a whole life that they went through. I think that's cool.
for the state drive back to Buckingham Palace, on an afternoon that's fast turning into a drizzle, they are all joined into
See,
one
this is the
amazing
parts
cavalcade.
where I want to cut
Duchess of
some
Gloucester and
time.
the Duchess of Kent are leaving the Abbey to ride in a glass coach in the part of the procession which comes immediately in front of Her Majesty Queen Mary. And once again our royal family stands on the most famous balcony in the world for the final climax of this glorious coronation day. And working with the world's most powerful camera lens.
Okay, who can name people here? All right. So, Queen Elizabeth. I'm guessing that's Queen Anne. I'm assuming that is either George the Sixth mom or the Queen Mother's mom. That's a guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And Margaret.
Our cameraman gets these amazing close-ups of their majesties on the balcony.
Damn, check out that camera.
Our cameraman
Looks like a bazooka.
gets these amazing close-ups of their majesties on the balcony. Later, inside the palace, their Majesties and the royal family pose specially for our camera in all the magnificence of their coronation robes.
Guys, please help me if you can name any of these people other than what I know. There's the king, just crowned, George the Sixth. There's Queen Mother. There's Elizabeth. I'm guessing that's Anne. Don't know. I'm guessing that's either George or Queen Mother's mother. And don't know. Jesus. If you can name any of these people, I'll be really impressed.
And for days to follow, the floodlit palace is the magnet that draws London's jubilating night crowds. Queen, night.
Awesome video. Love it. I'm just in the mood because of the upcoming coronation. Love you guys. Hope you're all doing well. I know I had to skip around a bunch, and if you could answer any of my questions, I'd appreciate it. And I'd love for you to subscribe if you want to keep watching stuff and learning stuff with me. Love you guys. Again, if you want to join the Discord, the link to it is right below. Sends you right over there. Don't be shy. Makes it easier for me to interact with you and see your recommendations. Everyone there is super nice. Well, 98% are super nice. Jerk. No. All right. Love you guys. Bye.